Well, I'm a 3-term state rep out of the Wheaton area. I went down to Springfield to fight for taxpayers. My background is I'm a West Point graduate with an economics degree. I served in the Army, and my husband and I have 5 children. We've lived in Wheaton for 26 years. So, look, I went down there for taxpayers. The reason voters should vote for me is because I'm going to be honest with them. And I've been watching for 5 years how, under both Democrats and Republicans, the state has been betrayed on promises that were made to right the ship and to take care of our budget. I'm committed to doing that, and I'm going to build the coalitions to get it done. Well, a lot of people want to assume that Mike Madigan will be in power after the 2018 elections, but the truth is 85% of Illinoisans say that we're on the wrong track. So we're hopeful that we can pick up the 9 seats to dispose Mike Madigan from his speakership, and that would give us a lot more flexibility to get some things done and work with the Senate on that side. That said, you know what? If Mike Madigan wants to work with us on good policy, then that's great. We'll work together on good policy. I think we're at the juncture in the state where you can no longer ignore the big elephants in the room. Like, you have to have economic growth to make this happen. Without economic growth, the state will not, you can't cut or tax your way out of this. In fact, taxes would precipitate the further decline of the state of Illinois, which is all that the Democrats are selling you, and which Rauner is responsible for. He's responsible for that 32% tax increase, quite frankly. So you need somebody who's going to hold the line on taxes and actually go for the reform and the cuts we need. But we can work with Mike Madigan. And if he doesn't want to work with us, it doesn't matter, because one thing you can do as the executive is take on public corruption. And we're going to take public corruption on day one. Well, one of the biggest issues for downstate is really school funding. And it's unfortunate that Governor Rauner bailed out Chicago public schools using state taxpayer money. And that's wrong. So we still have a problem because there's many downstate districts that again were made promises that Rauner's not going to keep on education funding. Why? Because Chicago's going to get the preponderance of the money. We need to still fix that formula. It is not fixed in any certain way, and there's no surety that downstaters are going to get the money that they deserve for their schools. So we need to handle that. We need to handle property taxes. That's a universal theme around the state of Illinois. And Rauner deciding to freeze them at the highest level, or trying to freeze them at the highest level, we need to actually talk about reducing property taxes. And so that's going to be our focus as well. The other thing is jobs. Southern Illinois needs jobs. And look, I picked Rich Morthland for my running mate. Rich represents a balanced ticket. He's from Rock Island County. He's a farmer. He's a community college professor. And he represents the forgotten Illinoisans by the political ruling class in Chicago. We haven't forgotten. This is a very much balanced ticket. And actually, in my Crane's editorial interview in Chicago, it was the assumption was made, well, how are you going to win votes in Chicago if you want to take away their money and put Medicaid recipients and make them have work requirements? And I said, well, I'm not running for mayor of Chicago. I'm running to be governor of the state of Illinois, and I understand that holistically, unlike other candidates like a J.B. Pritzker, or Chris Kennedy, or a Daniel Biss, or really, quite frankly, Governor Rauner, who abandoned Southern Illinois and rural voters.